Yeah.
That's so wonderful. So
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
If someone who is listening to you wants to start cultivating resilience right today, where would they begin?
I think you could begin by just asking yourself some simple questions, right? So, just as an example, you could ask yourself, do I react or do I respond? Right? That's a that's a question. I mean, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I'll get a text or an email and I like pause, just pause first. We're so primed to like, "Oh, let me respond, like let me get this email back, let me take this text." That's a great place to start. Just pause, right?
Mm,
Pause
mm,
and ask yourself, like, why was my gut reaction this? As
mm,
opposed to, could I take a pause, think this through, interrogate why my feelings were a certain way, and then respond in a more calm way? Or could I look at my calendar? I love this one. And just take 2 to 3 meetings off a week.
mm, mm,
And you don't have to cancel them. You could just postpone them a little bit and explain that what you're doing is you have some clarity into, your this week's priorities, you're preventing some burnouts, and you really value this meeting, but you're just going to push it out a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Just those micro moments that they fuel yourself, they give you a little more headspace. You're not apologizing for any of this, but you're just being really intentional about how you use your energy and your time.
Mm, makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's about also unlearning some of the habits that we have formed and relearning to be in these micro moments. Keep practicing them till the brain starts to recognize them as rewired as new neural networks.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's even something as simple as, I've had so many people say to me, gosh, I never like stop to document the wins,
Yeah.
right? I document the bad stuff or whatever. Just take 30 seconds every day and write down the good stuff. Good for
Mm-hmm.
your brain, but it's also good for your career, right? Like it's good, but it's a habit that you need to build into yourself. Here's another very simple example, and this kind of comes from the curiosity. I was with an executive team, and someone said, "Oh," he says, "I get so frustrated. In my group meetings and my one-on-ones, I always say, 'Hey, everything going? How's everything going?' 'Oh, good, good, good." He said, and then a month later, all the wheels fall off the bus. Things were not good. Now we're missing deadlines, but I asked everybody. And one of his peers said, "Oh, well, I actually asked that question differently. I say, what are 1 to 3 things I can help you with this week?" And just that small change of phrase, sometimes people say, "Oh, no, 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 there's nothing. I'm good." And they're truly good. But that opens the aperture to say, "There's one thing actually, blah, 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 blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah." And he said, "Now I can put out the fire instantly and we stay on track." So just think about, how could you rephrase something?
Yeah, I am going to write this down. What are
Yeah.
1 to 3 things I can help you with? Again,
Hmm.
that question is specifically asking for, tell
Tell
me.
me, right? It's safe. I actually want to know because, how's everything going? Sounds like I don't really want to know.
Yeah,
How you
yeah,
doing? As opposed to like, I want a real emotional check-in right now.
yeah. Tell, tell
Yeah.
me. You do
Yeah.
this work with leaders and organizations, which is so much needed. But I'm thinking that this starts with children in schools and with parents, sometimes still teaching them the old definition of resilience. Have you thought of uh,
It's so
how,
interesting.
how to
It's
get there?
so interesting you said that because I don't have children. And after the first few times I gave the keynote, I had a few people reach out and say, this has helped me with my parenting. Like with my little kids, I'm saying, was this a reaction or a response? And I was like, oh my God, that was parenting advice. But yeah, just think that next generation, right? We have to this is a leadership legacy, right? And if we can really help, I think, especially with that idea, nothing's happening to you.
Mm.
There's no victims here. Let's really think about anything that you might be offended by or upset by. Let's shift that. What can we learn from this? How can we reframe this? I think that would be really powerful. Let's learn how to have hard conversations. We've never had more generations in the workplace. If we can use some of this to ease the friction and create more resilient children who will become the next generation of leaders, there's no downsides, right?
Isn't it? Isn't it? Some of
Yeah,
your work in the corporate will become easier.
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
Because there's so much unlearning of the past.
definitely. But don't you think you work with senior leaders? I think even people who've reached the pinnacle, there's some room for helping them have better conversations and being more on it, like, being a little bit more forthright. I think this all the way from the youngest to the most senior leaders, there's a lot of room for a lot of people to learn things.
Which is great for us.
Totally. Totally. Anyone who's like, no, 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 I'm good. I got all my skills. I'm like, okay, okay,
Yeah, that's fine too.
totally.
Is there anything else you'd want to leave the listeners and viewers with?
I just think like this is not daunting, right? I'm not asking anyone or suggesting that anyone sort of do something that's so onerous, right? Every single person is already resilient. This is something we all have. If we're alive, we have it, right? This is just I'm, I'm just trying to encourage people, I think, to shift from the one kind that we've all been sort of primed and taught, which is
Yeah.
that bounce back model, grit, power through. We're just shifting what you already have and what you've already learned to a new kind, to just a different way of thinking about it, which is intentional, just to build it as a muscle. So it's really maybe not as big a shift as you might think. And you don't have to eat the elephant whole. You can literally start doing this in just the littlest bits so that over the next few months or year or whatever, you can eventually replace this reactive way of thinking or living. You never have to live in that model again.
Mhm.
So eventually you can make these decisions with so much confidence. You can be in this pressure cooker environment, which we're all in. Um, I think you can turn pressure into power and have more energy, and you can do it in a pretty easy way. I don't know, to me that sounds like a pretty big upside, you know?
It is, pressure into power. And it's not, the formula is not that complicated. It is micro moments which kind of add up to create a mind shift.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's sort of my plea to people is like, wouldn't it be nice to not feel pressured, but to feel powerful? Yeah, we are all powerful.
And it will feel nice to feel that way.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for this conversation, Tissa, and
Thank you.
helping us rethink on what resilience is and what can it look like.
Thank you.
And
Yes, and I do these as keynotes and as workshops, so you know, just feel free to reach out.
sure, and I'm also inviting our audience to get the book, Rethinking Resilience, Fueling Your Competitive Advantage. It's everywhere where the books are sold,
Mhm.
and it has a lot of tactical tools and wisdom for anyone who is leading through these complex times. So thank you, Tissa, for being here
Thank
with
you.
us.